What's going on, everybody? It's Joe Giunta with Team Take Profits. I'm here to help you trade and get paid. Welcome to Make Moves Monday, another episode of motivation, mindset, and trading psychology. Guys, in today's video, we're going to talk about having some guidelines. We're going to talk about guardrails for your trade plan. I'm going to help you get your mind right for a trade week that is going to be awesome. If you can get these things down that I'm going to talk about, I promise you, your trading is going to the next level. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click the little bell for notifications, and let's get to it. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Listen, when we're trading, there's so much that's going on outside of just the charts. We focus so much of our energy and our time on like strategies. We want to know the crossover this, the breakout this, all these different strategies that we want to talk about. But the truth is that before you even get onto the charts, you got to have your mind right. You got to have your discipline right. You got to have your structure right. Before we even talk about trading and strategy and all these different things we always want to know. If you type in Forex, the first thing that comes up is Forex strategy. Everybody always wants to know a strategy. How do I make $1 million? How do I do, but the truth is there's so much more to Forex than that. There's other things that you got to learn if you're going to be $1 million earner, a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure earner. You've got to have some mindset structured. You got to have some things predetermined before you go into the market. I want to talk today about some of those rules because the truth is that if we're going to be successful, we got to have some things together. The way we do anything is the way we do everything. Any little thing you do becomes a habit. Anything you do becomes, something that you do repeatedly anyway. It becomes a habit, and the next thing you know, it becomes part of who you are, part of your lifestyle. And that goes outside of trading. That goes for anything in life. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Show me a good habit in somebody, and I'll show you a lifestyle that follows. Show me a bad habit in somebody, and I'll show you a lifestyle that follows that as well. Today, what I want to talk about a little bit is some of those predetermined rules, right? We got to have a couple of predetermined things in our minds. It's just kind of like anything in life. If you wait until you're in the heat of the moment to make a decision, the commonality is that you're gonna make that decision based on what is the most immediate pressure. All right. And again, that's not just trading. That's anything in life. Anytime you make a decision in the heat of the moment, you're generally going to choose, or you're generally going to make a choice that is going to get you out of the most immediate pressure that you face, or that's going to give you the most immediate satisfaction. By nature, humans are very finite. We can only think in the moment. We can only think about what's in front of us. And so that's why it's so important that before we get to the heat of the moment, that we have some things laid out for us, that we already have some guidelines, some rules. Think of it like this. If you're driving down the road, they have guardrails on the side. And the reason is notice how the guardrail is never in the ditch. The guardrail is never outside. The guardrail is probably, if the guardrail wasn't there and you were to drive where the guardrail is, probably you wouldn't even get hurt. It's on the shoulder. It'd be dangerous, but you'd probably still have some room for safety there. What they do is they put those guardrails, those guidelines, those boundaries, if you would, they put them just inside the safe zone because they realize if they can keep you from there, that keeps you out of the danger zone. That's what I'm trying to help you to establish in your trading right now, is to establish some guardrails, establish some guidelines, put some things, don't put your principles in the ditch. In other words, don't say my guardrail is I just don't lose. I don't want to lose a trade, because you know what? As soon as you lose a trade, your mindset is blown, right? You got to have some things that are inside the safe zone. You got to have some things that are reasonable to talk about, that are going to keep you on the road to success in trading. So a couple of those things that we got to talk about is if we're going to have heat of the moment decisions, because if we're being honest, every trader is going to have to make some snap decisions every once in a while, some quick decisions. especially if you're trading the short-term charts. You're going to have to make some decisions like right now. You know, that's where a lot of traders mess up, is we are looking at trades, we're looking at certain opportunities in the market, and we sit there and ponder it so much that by the time we make the decision, hey, I'm ready to execute this trade, the trade is already taken off on us. And then that's why we eat drawdown. And it had nothing to do with the charts as much as the mindset. I got an email from somebody recently, one of the beginners in our team, talking about how the markups were right, the support and resistance was there, the supply and demand, the trend lines, whatever, you know, that was that she was doing. And then she literally just sat there and couldn't pull the trigger. In the demo, she had no problem. She was just blowing through it, you know, getting it, let's get it. And when it got to real money, she just couldn't pull the trigger. You know, it was like, you know, the frustration, the anxiety, the fear of wanting to trade, but fear of losing and fear of missing out, all kind of combined into one. And it's a crazy thing that we go through as traders. What I'm telling you is that you got to have some guidelines in place that are going to stop you from making bad decisions when quick decisions have to happen. Listen, let's be clear. A quick decision doesn't mean a bad decision. It's not equal. It's not the same thing. Sometimes quick decisions are the best things that we can do, but they have to follow a set of guidelines. A quick decision without rules is gonna find you in destruction. It's gonna find you in loss and blown accounts. But quick decisions inside of a set of guidelines that work is gonna help you to make executed decisions that are gonna get you perfect entry in the market. So when we make those snap decisions, guys, what we have to understand is we have to get fear out of the way. We have to get fear of losing money or fear of missing out. Either way, we got to get it out of the way. We don't operate from fear. We operate from a place of confidence and just really knowing that we did our due diligence in the market. Okay, we got to get rid of fear. You know, we generally fear whatever we see as a threat. And when we look at our real money, we don't want to lose it. When we look at potential opportunities, we don't want to miss it. So we can't operate in fear, though. I can't say, you know, what if this trade happens and I miss it and I didn't because I didn't get in. We're not thinking about that. I'm not thinking about what's going to happen 10 minutes or 10 years from now. I'm only thinking about what diligence I put in to marking up this chart and understanding the execution of the trade. If the trade doesn't make sense and fit my rules, I don't care if it goes to the moon or not. I don't want the trade if it doesn't fit my rules. And on the other hand, fear of losing money or fear of losing, we can't operate in that way either. Constantly scared to pull the trigger because we're afraid to lose a couple bucks. Listen, if you're afraid to lose money and you can't lose money, Forex is not for you. There is a risk of losing in Forex, and we've got to be comfortable with that. When I press buy or sell, long or short, when I execute a trade, whether it be a limit, a stop, or a market execution, that money's gone. In my mind, that money's gone. I have a certain percentage that I'm willing to risk, and I click go, and it's over. I just think I've got it set in my mind that money's no longer there. My new margin is whatever minus that trade, okay? But I was comfortable risking that. And guess what? When my trade comes back as a win, man, that's awesome. I made some money. But if I come back with a loss, I'm not stressing it because I already prepared myself that if I lose a trade, I'm okay. I'm not risking over leveraging. I'm not over risking. I'm not over trading. I already know what I'm getting into before I get into it. So I set that guideline. So we can't operate from a place of fear, but we also can't operate from a place of greed. Because honestly, many times fear and greed is the same thing. The fear is the fear of loss, but the greed is the fear of missing out. We want to get every last little penny in the market. And I've seen so many people that you were in a positive trade. You were winning. You had pips. You were doing well. And then you just tried to squeeze out every last little movement. Well, what if I miss 5 more pips? You were 50 in profit. So at that point, you're risking 50 that you already have for 5 more that you might get. Think about that for a second. You are a 10-to-1 risk reward. That's crazy. Think about the risk reward factor in that. We always got to keep things in our favor. Okay? We cannot operate from a place of greed. When it's time to get out of the trade, it's time to get out of the trade. And it's never a bad thing to walk away if you're in profit. It's never a bad thing. If you think there's more profit coming, but you're unsure, take your profit and run. It's all right. You don't got to squeeze every little thing out of the market. Get yours and go. You have more money in now than you had when you started. Listen, if you set a take profit of 50 pips and you're 40 pips in profit and you're getting nervous, close the trade. Take your 40 and walk away. Go back and examine what I have gotten at 10 and then use that to structure your mindset to catch that 10 the next time. When you start to get unsure and you don't know what's going on, I'm telling you, it's always best to take your profit and go. All right? Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy in the market. You got to follow your set of rules. What I'm going to encourage you to do today is set your rules, okay? And don't break those rules. All right? Ask yourself this. Set those guidelines. Ask yourself this. How many trades am I going to take? How much is the percentage I'm willing to risk in every trade? What is the risk reward that I'm willing to allow in my trade? Am I 1-1, 1-2? What does that look like? How long am I willing to stay in a trade? Am I willing to hold a trade overnight or over the weekend? You gotta have all of those things predetermined. Don't wait until you're there to the weekend that my trade is in profit. Now, do I open? Do I close? You should have already thought about that before you even entered a trade. You need to have all those things mapped out for you so that you're not making emotional decisions, but you're making decisions based on the guidelines that you already set out. All right? So set up those guidelines, set up what your plan is, set up your rules, set up your confirmations. And if your rules are not being met, if your confirmations are not being met, skip out on the trade. And if it makes money and you missed it, oh well, there's always more trades coming. All right. The banks have been doing business a long time and we still got a lot of money to make in this market. Don't feel like you're missing out. Don't feel like you got to hold and squeeze every penny. There's always more. 4 quarters makes $1. Remember that. 4 singles equals a home run. You don't got to hit the home run every time. As long as I'm getting on base, I'm good, and I'm gonna end up winning a lot of games. I hope this helps. Guys, let's get our minds right. Let's get our mind prepared for the week to come. There's a lot of money to make. Let's make some. All right, guys, there you have it. I hope this video helped you. Listen, guys, these guardrails are important. You got to make sure that you have your mind right. You got to have predetermined rules. You can't wait till you're in the heat of the moment to make decisions, because that's where we mess up. That's where emotions get the best of us. So I hope these things will help you. I hope this video helps you to start off your week, get your stuff together. This is not just going to impact your week. It's going to impact your trading career, your trading journey. Listen, Forex can pay. Forex is a powerful thing. It's the driving force behind every other investment. I talk about it all the time. If you don't enter the market right with some predetermined rules and have those things mapped out before you get there, you're setting yourself up for failure. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Remember that. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, tradeandgetpaid.com. That's how you access the classroom. Become one of my students. All you got to do is go to the website. Let's start up, okay? Remember, invest in yourself before you invest in the markets. I'll see you on the next video.